Hi, good morning, everybody. Kathleen Campbell, and you are watching Stand with Campbell. For those of you who are new to this channel, geez, this thing has morphed. First off, I'm a mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom. So I have plenty of time to be involved in my son's education, his athletics, PTA, you name it, I'm involved. Um, so, of course, when he was home remote learning, I, like many other parents in America, were noticing things that the teachers were saying where we were like, whoa, pump the brakes. What did she just say? I know I'm not alone in that. I know many who were also in the same sentiment of, I can't believe I just heard that. And then they went and spoke to the teachers. I have everything in email from what I went through last year. I don't delete anything, even thank you emails. It's it shows that the person received it and they acknowledged it. So I don't delete anything. So if you send me an email and you see it come back up in 20 years, don't be surprised. That's the type of person that I am. I was a senior project manager for years. I managed multiple multi-million dollar projects at a time. So organizing information that I collect from my son's school district is like a cakewalk for me. So really the point of this channel is the lack of transparency that I'm seeing in my own school district. And quite frankly, I'm seeing it across the nation. I'm involved in a ton of parent groups on different topics, if you will, and some are they're like a blended topic in terms of these curriculum changes from across the nation. I'm talking to real parents. I'm not talking to just school districts. I mean, the only district that I'm talking to is my own. But I'm talking to real parents going through the same exact pains as myself and getting my information from them. Um, our superintendent, Jack Hurley, he made a comment to me in a meeting that we had in person that, you're getting your information from the news. From the news? I don't trust the news. You know what I trust? I trust my own research. And when I take the time to see for myself what is going on, that's what I trust. I don't trust anybody I don't trust anyone's word, number one. And I just don't take things at face value, ever. That's foolish. And that's definitely something that I teach my son. Don't ever take things for face value. So, really, what the problem here is no transparency. Nobody can give me resources. Nobody can show me websites. Nobody can show me how the schools will be carrying out these instructions. Nobody will tell me what topics will be discussed, what won't be discussed. Can you say this? Can you say that? No. Diversity, equity, and inclusion was passed into law January 31st, 2019. That's almost 3 years ago. Okay. Almost 3 years ago. And yet, New Jersey Department of Education still has provided zero instruction or standards or sample lessons to the districts in the state of New Jersey. I think there's over 700 districts in the state of New Jersey. Not one knows what they're doing. Nope. They all get to do what they want. And it's kind of like, let's test the waters and see what we can get away with and see what we can't. Because there's no standard put out by the state. So, of course, they're going to try to see how much they can get away with. But when you ask the schools and the districts, can I see what you're doing? They don't want to give it to you. Well, is that not a red flag for anybody else? Because it certainly is for me. Listen, there are people out there who could be presented with a contract. Now, I won't sign a contract unless I read it. It's so annoying. It's laborious. You don't want to do it, but you want to make sure that you're not going to get screwed in the end, right? Because once you sign that contract, you are committed to it. There is no going back. None. Somebody gives you a contract, we're going to give you $5 million, but we're not telling you what's in the contract. And you're like, wow, $5 million, that could be life changing for my family and I. It's going to be so wonderful. We're going to be able to get out of this little house. Maybe we can get something a little bigger. Maybe we could finally get that pool. We could go on a vacation. We've never been on vacation. Oh, this is amazing. We're finally going to be able to buy some nice clothes, maybe have like actual food on the table because maybe Maybe the reason that you were selected was because you're probably living in poverty, so this was going to really appeal to you, and you're not going to think about what does the contract say. You're going to look at $5 million, $5 million. That's what you're going to look at. You sign that contract, and all of a sudden they say, "All right, give me your family," and you're like, "Wait, what?" You're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, $5 million. We're taking your kids, and we're taking your spouse. Oh, and we're taking the dog." And you're like, "Whoa, I didn't know I was signing that contract. I didn't know that's what it was. Too bad. See ya." That's how I feel about the no transparency in our school systems. As a parent, we are entitled. It is our legal right. Don't let them tell you otherwise. It is our legal right to see the curriculum, to see the resources, to see what they are teaching our children. Do you understand that? It's our legal right. But for whatever reason, these school systems are getting away saying, "No, we're not going to show you. No, we don't have to show you." And parents just say, "Oh, okay." And they go about their way. Not this parent. I am in a tremendous fight to get transparency. And if I have to expose the inconsistencies and the lies that have been given to me by our district, whether it's Superintendent Jack Hurley or it's Principal Joan Carrion, because I have proof, and I have even more proof now that my Oprah requests have been fulfilled, which we'll get into those in another video. But I don't deal with non transparency very well. And I don't like when people lie to me. And when they lie to my face, it's even worse. We're talking about minors, okay? We're talking about children here. And the government doesn't own our children, but they sure as hell are trying to make it seem like they do. They're trying to say, "We know what's better than you do, parents. We know how to teach them morals, values, beliefs, empathy, kindness, this, that." No, you don't. We've done that. We, parents, families, we have done that. So stay in your lane. I've done that. I've taken care of that. My kid is kind. My kid is empathetic. My kid is caring. My kid, my goodness, there's so many amazing things I could say about my kid. But we'll stop there because I want to focus on something else. So, Monday's Board of Education meeting. I'm sure you've heard about it. There was a tremendous support from a group of people for social emotional learning. Some even support critical race theory, which I don't know, but that's a college level course, so we don't teach that. We might teach tenets of it, but we don't teach critical race theory in Rutherford. You will find principles hidden in the diversity, equity, inclusion, though, and I have found that. So everyone was saying, "I can't understand why this parent would be so against this." Well, I'm against it for my child, number one. I'm not against it for your child or any other child in the district. I think a parent has a right to be involved in their children's education, and period. That's what it is. And I'm against it because I have seen firsthand where districts have abused social emotional learning. And I have a very good friend of mine who I've known since elementary school. I will not say who they are. I will not reference gender, but they are a special education teacher. They are a behaviorist, and they are licensed to practice social emotional learning. And in their professional opinion, this is unacceptable in our school systems. And I could give you a multitude of reasons as to why, but we're not going into that today. What we're going to focus on is the countless echoes of social emotional learning reduces violence, reduces harassment, intimidation, and bullying, reduces substance abuse, and it bumps up attendance in school. College enrollment shoots up. I'm not quite certain where people got that information from. The only place that I have personally seen that being referenced is Castle, who created social emotional learning. They were founded in like 1994, and I think 1997 is when they actually coined the term social emotional learning. So CASEL is CASEL is how it's spelled. It stands for the Collaborative for Academic Social Emotional Learning. They are like the main bridge to go to take to get into social emotional learning. And then you have all these other arteries that break off, all these different companies and organizations that want to train and teach, and they're making a killing on this new social emotional learning push. Okay. Even the government is funding schools across the nation for social emotional learning. So if you're looking at CASEL or you're looking at Aspen Institute, I'm gonna go sidebar a little bit. These companies, these organizations, these research institutions, excuse me, they are funded by the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, and they are funded by either the Bill and Melinda Foundation or just the Gates Foundation. I don't know if I should go into that. They also are funding Panorama, which pays schools to give their students surveys to collect data. So from my perspective, of course, the data that you're going to see in these different groups that are funded by these gentlemen, these uber wealthy gentlemen who don't care about you or I, of course the data is going to, or the research that they show, the research is going to show positive results. It's designed to do that. It's been paid to do that. We're going to focus on New Jersey, though, because that is where I live in this great state. I was born and raised here, born in Newark, raised in Belleville, lived in a couple other places, and then now I've put my roots down here in Rutherford, and I will be leaving once my son graduates Rutherford in 2028. Taxes are too darn high here, and we will be done with New Jersey at that rate, and we will be moving to a different state. So in the interim, this is what we got. So what I want to do is I'm going to share my screen with you because I have found data, solid data that shows social emotional learning is not reducing all those things that parents are believing that they do. You've been told this. You're looking at sites that you think are credible. I mean, what makes them credible? I don't know. When I look at different sites and different research assignments, or even Yale University, they did one too. I look to see who funded it, because usually that'll tell you what direction it's going to go. I mean, I don't have the money to fund a research project to see if it's true or not. These uber wealthy billionaires, they're the ones who are controlling it. They're just playing along with it. And people are believing it. So I'm going to show you the truth as it relates to New Jersey. Okay, we are going to start right here. This is, let me just scroll up a little fast so you can see exactly, because I did not memorize it. This is the Commissioner's Annual Report to the Education Committees of the Senate and General Assembly on violence, vandalism, and substance abuse in New Jersey public schools. New Jersey, okay? New Jersey. 2015 to 2016 we're talking about. Let's slide down. I want you to see these numbers. Okay. So you could see from this chart, you got violence, vandalism, weapons, substance abuse, and HIB incidents, which again is harassment, intimidation, and bullying. There was a slight decline between the 2013-2014 year and the 2014-2015 year in violence, but boy, did it skyrocket. 999 incidents. Skyrocketed. You look over here. Weapons. That went down a little bit. Then it went back up again. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. That was vandalism. Vandalism. 1561, 1359, 1423. So it's kind of like the same average. Weapons. Pretty much the same. Substance. High, went down a little bit, went back up again. Hib incidents. Slight decline, decline, decline. Okay, now come over here. So you can see, same here, 2015, 2016, the numbers match. Obviously, they should. If they didn't, then we have a problem. But look at that, violence. It is kind of pretty much the same. Vandalism went down ever so slightly. Weapons, ever so slightly. Substance abuse, increase. Hib incidents, increase. So, if this was really working, we would see drastic changes. We're not seeing drastic changes. We're going to move on because it gets better. And I don't mean that in like a good way. I mean, the facts just continue to roll out. Sorry, I should have kept that one open. 2017-2018 school year. Let me just flip these two because keep it so that it makes it easier to follow along here. Okay. Violence skyrocketed. 18,245 in the 2016-2017 school year to 10,838 the following school year. Vandalism, 1,348 in the 16-17 year. 1,587, it's going up. Weapons, 1,093, that actually went down. Great, we have a little bit of a decrease. Now, is that as a result of schools putting in, say, metal detectors, which then is preventing children from bringing in more weapons? I don't know. Substance abuse skyrocketed. In my opinion, that is a huge increase in 1 year. 3,157 to 4,463. These are children, people. Children. That is a huge increase. And let's just remember here, these are just the ones that got caught, okay? This isn't even the totalitarian view. These are just the ones that got caught, that were reported. The HIB, 6,419, 2016-2017. 7,522 reported. There's definitely some that weren't, because isn't that how harassment, intimidation, and bullying works? Where you're afraid to speak up, you're afraid to go protect yourself, you're afraid to go to the authorities. Yeah, that's how it works. So right now, this isn't looking too impressive. This isn't saying social emotional learning is working. And in fact, it's saying quite the opposite to me. Quite the opposite. Last one that we're going to do, because it's the last one that's available. So 2019, that was the start of the pandemic, correct? March 2019, I think. Yeah, right? I think so. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. But look at this, guys. I mean, how can you deny this? Tell me how you can deny this. We have violence, 10,838. 12,381 in the next year. Where is that improvement? I don't see it. Do you see it? Because I do not see it as it relates to the state of New Jersey. Harassment, intimidation, and bullying. Well, that has apparently gone down, but like I said before, that just means that those are the reported ones. It doesn't mean that every incident that took place was reported and recorded and counted into this, because that is how harassment, intimidation, and bullying works. There are cases where they succeeded in the individual, the victim, not coming forward and saying something. Substance abuse, 4,463, and it jumped up to 6,234. I got to say this much. I am scared to bits, scared to bits to see what 2019 to 2020's report says. Oh, but it can't because we really weren't in school. So these things, I guess, weren't happening. I don't know. Maybe there will be something. Maybe there will be a report that shows us. I'm not 100% positive. So you know what? I'm going to retract that statement because I'm not sure. But at this pace, I'll tell you right now, I would be afraid to see it increasing. Vandalism, 1,587 in the 17 to 18 school year to now in the 18-19 school year, 1,770. And let me tell you something. We live in Rutherford, and you would think this cute, quaint, Norman Rockwell-esque looking town, oh, they don't have that going on there. Holy smokes, do we ever. And some of the acts are just disgusting. And I don't even want to put it on here, but it's disgusting. And it's November 21st, and the amount of vandalism that we've already had. The principal of the Rutherford Public High School had to go ahead and send an email to parents telling them about all these issues that were going on in the school. And saying kids are using TikTok and they're using Snapchat and there's these challenges that are out there that they're using these apps to show because if you didn't put it on the internet, it didn't happen. So kids were ripping off bathroom doors, I think breaking windows. Don't hold me to that one. They were also ripping off I guess like the hand soap off the walls. I mean, it's getting worse, people. It's getting worse. And nobody can tell me that social emotional learning is getting better. I got the email. Oh wait, let me just touch real fast. Weapons, 877 in the previous year to 924 in the last, okay? So it's kind of a long email, so hang with me, people. Hang with me. Please hang with me. It's with great disappointment that I have to send this email. Over the last several weeks, we have had many acts of vandalism in our restrooms. This is Rutherford Public High School. Many acts. I want to clear up the misconceptions that I have heard about the vandalism and the school's response. First and foremost, this was not an isolated incident that caused me to temporarily close some of our bathrooms. As vandalism has never been an issue, we believe these acts are due to the TikTok challenge. Pictures of some of the acts of vandalism at Rutherford High School have been posted on social media by students. The list of the acts of vandalism that have taken place over the last few weeks are listed below. Graffiti scratched into the bathroom stalls. I mean, kids were doing that when I was young, too. Whole roll of toilet paper was removed from the case, placed in the toilet. Paper towels were wet, formed into a ball, then thrown against the walls. This caused the paper to explode and left debris throughout the bathroom. Paper towels were folded, then wet and stuck on the stall doors, spelling out very inappropriate words. But that social emotional learning, empathy, kindness, be good to the neighbor, it's working, right? It's working. On 2 different occasions, bathroom stalls had been ripped off the hinge in a girl's room. Are you kidding me? Chicken fingers were put in a toilet bowl. Are we kindergartners? Fruit punch was poured over the bathroom stall. Then the cup was lodged into the toilet bowl. The urinal was stuffed with paper towels, then flushed repeatedly. This caused the urinal to overflow and flood the bathroom. Multiple soap dispensers have been broken and ripped off the wall. Someone defecated on the bathroom floor. Did you hear what I just read to you? Someone defecated on the bathroom floor. This is the email from our Rutherford High School principal. A thermostat in a girl's room was ripped off the wall. We have always had bathroom checks by faculty and custodians throughout the day, but because of student privacy and staffing, it is impossible to monitor all the bathrooms enough to eliminate the vandalism. That is why on Thursday morning, the bathroom on the first floor and the bathrooms on the third floor were temporarily closed. We only allowed one student in at a time to the second floor bathrooms. Those bathrooms were monitored all day by our custodial staff, basically making this their full-time job, as opposed to cleaning the school like they're supposed to be doing. They are now babysitting our teenagers in high school because teenagers evidently no longer know how to act with respect and they don't know how to treat public property with respect. The administration met with student council members on Friday. The student leaders requested that we keep the bathrooms closed for a longer period. They're very upset by this behavior in their school, and you should be. You should all be ashamed if you participated in this. Despite their suggestion, we are staying with our original plan. We will open another bathroom on the third floor on Monday morning after an announcement is made to the student body. We will monitor that bathroom as well, and if the acts continue to stop, we will continue to open bathrooms. It is impossible to sit back and let students destroy property and vandalize our bathrooms. Pause there. And you shouldn't. You should not allow them to do this. Something needed to be done. I agree. I think the message to our students has been effectively communicated. I ask that you reinforce with your child the importance of respecting school property and the folly of the TikTok challenge. Should you have any questions, please feel free to contact Mr. DeBarry or me, Frank Morano, Rutherford High School Principal. Beautifully done. I respect that email. I like how you put it all out there for everyone to see. Nobody can continue to tell me that social emotional learning is working when we have to send emails like that. There was more than one act of violence, or excuse me, vandalism, more than one. I'm ashamed of my community. I'm sorry, but I am. If teenagers are acting like that now, what the heck are they going to do when they get out into the world? Where is this coming from? I mean, I grew up in Belleville, New Jersey. I lived truly 2 blocks from Newark, 2 blocks on Washington Avenue. In fact, my parents just sold our childhood home, and it's going to be knocked down and a parking lot put up. But even for where I grew up, this kind of crap didn't happen. I mean, we had fights. There was fights galore, but I don't recall anything of this nature. Once in a while, somebody would do something stupid. A girl would disgustingly leave a tampon or something on the floor, but nothing like this have I ever experienced. And it's the TikTok challenges, it's the Snapchat, and it all comes down to kind of the disconnect between parents realizing what their children are doing with their phones and children thinking, oh, I can do it. It's funny and nothing's going to happen to me. So, based upon all of this, what you see, the data that it relates to the state of New Jersey, the email that came from Rutherford Public High School, social emotional learning isn't doing the trick. It's not. We're wasting time taking away from core classes, academia, so our children can think for themselves. So if they get a contract put in front of them, they can intelligently read it, and they can understand what it means and what it's saying to them, and not just blindly print, because we no longer write cursive or teach cursive. So they don't blindly print their name onto a contract where they're selling their souls. This is not working. People want to think it's working. On the surface, there are so many wonderful aspects of social emotional learning, but the data is right here. I don't really know what Rutherford's HIB is and all this. I was kind of having a hard time finding it, but I'll find it. Don't you worry. I will find it, and I will compare over the past few years and see if we are noticing a difference right here in Rutherford. But on a state level, there is no improvement. We are getting worse. We are getting worse. And maybe that's because schools are blurring the lines of, you're supposed to be educators. You're not supposed to be teaching the morals, values, ethics, and beliefs. That's a parent's job. You're supposed to be educate. Math, science, social studies, history. I mean, you want to go ahead and teach about what really happened in America? Be my guest. Be my guest, because that's how we don't repeat it. But if you're trying to tell me that social emotional learning is positive, well, this data right here disproves all of that. All of it. So I'm going to stop there. As you can see, I am not giving up on this. If the data was there, I might be swayed. But what I can see right here in these nice colored charts, it's not working. It's not. So we need to go back and figure out why it's not working, and maybe just go back to academics and go back to being authoritative figures, authoritative educators, dressing more the professional part. When I was growing up, teachers dressed properly. They didn't dress like you and me. So you were able to tell that's a teacher because they dressed the part. They dressed professionally. They had a suit on. You respected them. You had some fear of them. At least I did. Oh my God. I had I had a few principals and a few teachers that I would like shake when I would see them just because they put the fear in me. They put the holy fear in me. And I'm a girl who went to public school and Catholic school. So I've been on both levels and I've been through both experiences as to when you have regular teaching staff and educators, and then you have sisters and your principal's brother Stephen, and Sister Mary Elizabeth. I went to Queen of Peace for a couple of years, and then I was like, not for me. Which is funny because I'm kind of conservative minded, but it was a totally different scenario. Anyway, point is, it's not working. I just proved to you it's not working. If people don't want to see data for data and facts for facts, then I don't think that you're ever going to open your eyes. And I'm not here to change your opinion. I'm here to educate you on what is truth, because I've done the research and I will continue to do the research, and I will continue to disprove everything that everyone is trying to say. Don't take things for face value. If you do, you're foolish. I'm sorry, but you're foolish. Do your own research. If you want to see the truth, you will dig and you will find it. I did. I mean, for goodness sakes, it was right on our state's Department of Education website. Right there. See right here? It says right here. New Jersey Department of Education. I mean, I downloaded these, so you only see that it's in my desktop, but it is right there. It's not working. So with that, thank you for listening. I appreciate you stopping by to hear my thoughts, see the facts, see the data. It's out there. And what it's telling me right now as it relates to the state of New Jersey is it's not working. And nobody can show me where it's working because the state's showing me it's not working. So thank you. Enjoy your Sunday. It's a beautiful day in New Jersey. And be well, everybody. Until next time. Take care.